Welcome everybody tonight to our City of International Falls Special City Council meeting. Our first item of the agenda is going to be the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could all rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Administrator, please note that all members of the council are present. Our first item of business is to approve the absences from work from the administration office from last Friday in honor of Mayor Bob Anderson's funeral at 10 o'clock on Friday, September 27th, 2019. Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Question.
Yes.
I think we should include the other employees that attended that funeral too in this. It's just the administration office?
Employee absences from work and administration office. It was all employees. It was covered. It's all encompassing.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry.
No problem. Any other discussion? Hearing no discussion. Question?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Passes 4-0. Our next item on the agenda is to discuss the process to fill the vacancy to the elected position of mayor. We have two options that are before us that were included in your packet. If we would like, we could have the city administrator or the city attorney give the two options that we have before us. Either of you would like to start?
Sure, I can do that.
Please.
Mayor Pro Tem, thank you. I had provided a copy of a memorandum that I had prepared for the council for last Monday's special meeting, and in that memorandum we talked about the process to fill the vacancy to the elected position of mayor. And I've laid out two basic options. One of them is to consider advertising for candidates to fill the mayor's position, and there's a draft resolution included in your packet that lays out some whereas statements or findings of fact, and then the action where you would be soliciting candidates to apply for the position of mayor. And as the council might recall from our conversation last week, the charter is the governing document that regulates and dictates how we go about filling elected position vacancies. And the charter simply states that the council must make an appointment. It doesn't matter if somebody's in the first day of their term or the last day of their, well, close to the last day of their term. You basically have 60 days to fill a vacancy, and it's purely a council decision. There's no provision for having special elections or anything like that. Mayor Anderson's term expires at the end of 2020, so there's roughly 15 months left on his unexpired term. So the council can choose to advertise for candidates, and we've included in the packet a single-page application form. On that form, we've asked for somebody's name, address, email address, telephone number, and we identify and ask them to provide a brief written statement as to the reason why they want to serve as a member on the city council, and then provide some brief personal background information. And then typically what I've seen in other communities is that if there is a vacancy in an elected position on the council and the council is responsible for making an appointment, is that after you entertain and receive these applications, is that the city council would schedule interviews with each of the applicants and have conversations with them, find out what their interests are, what their background is, and then make a determination about whoever you feel is appropriate to serve in the vacancy. And in this case, it's the vacant mayor's position again. The second option is to make, rather than advertise for candidates, is just to make a direct appointment. And again, at the last meeting, you had adopted an ordinance declaring a resolution declaring the vacancy in the seat of mayor. And so you can make an appointment anytime within the 60 days. So if you choose to make a direct appointment, that can be anybody who qualifies as an eligible voter in the city of International Falls. So you basically have to be 18 years old, resided in the state of Minnesota for at least 20 days, I think be a U.S. citizen for at least 3 months, and reside within the city limits and over 18 years of age, and you're an eligible voter. And as an eligible voter, you're eligible to serve in any elected capacity with the city council, be it the mayor or a city council position. So if you choose to make a direct appointment, you can do that from anybody who's an eligible voter. You could do that from among your own ranks if you would choose to do that. It could be an existing seated city council member, could be appointed to the position of mayor. And if you were to do that, then whatever person was appointed to the mayor's position, then that would be the seat that would be vacant. And you would need to adopt another resolution declaring the vacancy and whatever council seat is vacant. And then you have up to 60 days again to make an appointment. And you could do that directly, or you could seek candidates. And my recommendation generally would be is to seek candidates to fill positions, so you can just see who's out there, what their interests are, make sure they're in just the most qualified candidate to serve as an elected official for the next 15 months.
Okay. So we have two options that are before us. One, we can seek application from the community. The other one is we can make a direct appointment from this board. I would ask at this time, is there any member of this council that would be interested in filling the vacancy of mayor?
No.
Okay. I would then let the council know I am interested in filling this position. If you're so willing in appointing directly, or if you'd like to go out to the community, that is still the choice of this council, and I will not attempt to sway you in any way. So if the council is interested, I would like to give my reasons on why I would like to be appointed mayor before we make a choice on how we move forward. Is everyone fine with that approach?
I think that would be fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I jotted a couple of ideas down of how we've gotten here. If I were to be appointed from this council, the sitting mayor, filling out Mayor Anderson's term through next year, we are on the same election cycle. So I would be up next year as well, and instead of running for the at-large seat, it would be my intention to run for the mayor's seat. Secondly, because I am the at-large city councilor, in the event that I am appointed mayor, the at-large would be able to seek appointment from anybody inside the city limits to fill this seat, which again, you have that option in the event that we do open applications for mayor. Either way, it would open up applicants to everyone inside the community. One of the other reasons that I feel I would be a good candidate, just based on where we're at, I have been on our city council in 2 different seats, from the center ward seat to the at-large seat, for over 5 years. I have the most experience on the council of what we have right now. I have been able to work closely with the previous council and with the council that we have now, moving forward with what we have with the sales tax, the public works, everything that we've kind of built up to where we're at right now. I'm very knowledgeable on where we're at. I have served on this board as Mayor Pro Tem. I'm the EDA President. I've been the Budget and Finance Chair. I've worked on the Public Works Committee. I've been the Chair of the Land Use and Legislation. I've been the President of the Recreation Commission. I'm a KEDA member. And outside of this board, I also have served as the commander of our local VFW, the commander of our District 8 VFW, and I served on the VFW Council of Administration for the state of Minnesota. I think my knowledge of where we've gotten to this point is sufficient to be able to move us forward in our community. But I also want you all to know, if in the event that I am appointed mayor, I will not be the same mayor that we've had. I'm considerably different, and there's all different kinds of mayors. I will never attempt to be what we've had. I can't sit on every single board, as our previous mayor sat on quite a few boards. It would be my goal to lead our community by collaboration, setting up qualified people onto our committees in our city, and having a once-a-month get-together for everyone to collaborate and discuss where we're going moving forward, so that we can get those back to our committee meetings and ultimately to our city council. We've had set up in the past our committee meetings, but we haven't utilized those committee meetings nearly as much as I would hope to. I would like to have a committee meeting where we can have, as we started this last year, on vision sessions on where we want to get to, because I think that's what we need, is we need to have discussions on where this board wants to move forward and then take the steps to enact that. I think that we need to continue to cultivate relationships with our entities in the community, and I think that that is going to be part of the collaboration effort too. I never thought that I would be even in this position to have this conversation with our city council. If I am put into this position, it isn't it isn't a celebration. I mean, it's just a change of leadership under the situation of where we're at. So anyways, those are the reasons why I think that I would make a good candidate for mayor. Obviously, we don't have anybody in the community at this point to stand up and say that they would like to be appointed mayor. With that being said, I would open the floor to one of two motions, either A, to appoint myself to the position, or to make a motion to fill the vacancy outside of this board. In the event that we do not appoint me this evening, for the sake of trying to move our community forward, I would like to let everybody know I will not seek appointment if we open it up to the community, because I don't want there to be a hiccup on if then I get appointed and then we have to fill this seat. So if the council chooses to move forward in a different direction, I will respect that. And I understand. So at this point, I will leave it up to the committee to move forward.
Pro Temp?
Yes.
I'm in full support of Mayor Pro Temp moving into the mayor position. But before we make any kind of action, I would like to ask the audience if anybody would like to voice their opinion.
Okay, if anyone in the audience would like to speak, I'll give you 3 minutes to speak, but I'll need you to come up and address your name and address. And make sure that the microphone is on.
I hope it's okay if I sit.
You're welcome to sit.
Okay. Is this on?
No.
It's not.
It's on.
You can't hear it? Okay. Harley, I would love to see you be our mayor. I have liked you from day one. I like your approach to people, your funny humor, which is very important, because sometimes we have to deal with some really crappy situations. And I've seen you deal with them in really wonderful ways. So I would love you to accept the mayor position. On another note, once you do take over that, I am interested in having your seat as a council member.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay.
All right, thank you. Anybody else would like to come up and approach the council? All right, no one else would like to come up and approach the council?
I would like to, if I may.
Please, Crystal.
I would very much like to see the city council approve Mr. Droba as the next mayor. I believe he has the character, the personality, and the training under Mayor Anderson to fulfill the duties. He's also interested in a wide variety of projects going on in the city, and he's been mentored by Mayor Anderson, and I believe he's the right person for this job. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. The floor is open if anyone else would like to come up and speak. Hearing none, I'll pull it back to the council.
I would make a motion to appoint Mayor Pro Temp Harley Drova to mayor.
We have a motion on the floor.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Discussion,
Mr. Mayor,
please.
the charter is clear on how to approach something like this. We have our two options in front of us. I truly believe that appointing at-large city councilor Harley Droba to the position of mayor is the smart thing for us to do. As you noted in your speech prior to the motion, you have an expiring term that is 15 months and 1 day away, and it coincides with the mayor's expiring term. A special election would not be an option at this point. Elections are expensive, and we don't have time. So quite frankly, I think this makes the most sense. I also am quite happy that your position is the at-large position, which opens the city council up to any resident of the city of International Falls. We have a lot of work to do in the coming months. We have municipal consent for Highway 53 that we have to get done by the end of October. We have bonding coming up. We have budgeting. Mayor Anderson saw fit to appoint you as Mayor Pro Tem, and I think that I know I trust his judgment. And in trusting his judgment, I back this 100%.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing no other discussion, Chair would call the question.
Aye.
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 And I'll abstain. Motion passes 3-0 with one abstention. Well, thank you, everybody. I greatly appreciate your belief in me, and I will do everything in my power to continue. It would be my hope that I could be sworn in a private setting tomorrow with my family here, because again, this isn't a celebration. This is a change in leadership. So I would like to have a private ceremony with my family moving forward. Obviously, the Journal is welcome to come because it is important to the community, but I wouldn't like to get sworn in tonight without my family here. So, please.
Council and Mayor Pro Tem, I think we'll have the record reflect that the appointment would be effective upon administration of the oath of office. And it's your intention to take that oath of office tomorrow. Is there a specific time that you've got set up? I assume that the afternoon would be better, just given your work schedule.
My family could be here at 5 tomorrow.
Okay.
With that being said, now we have an opening at the at-large position. So I would ask for a motion to advertise for candidates for the at-large position for the City of International Falls.
I'll move.
We have a motion to advertise for candidates for the at-large position. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Please.
We have, again, I had said it before, I will say it again, we have the municipal consent coming up for Highway 53 that is due sooner than later. I believe it's due October 23rd, is that correct?
That is correct.
So my question would be, would we be able to put, say, 10 days from tomorrow for candidates to get their applications in? That would end then the following Friday. That would give us a week to interview potential candidates and attempt to seat somebody on October 21st, at the October 21st meeting. 10 days to get your applications in starting tomorrow. The applications, I assume, are at City Hall, or will be at City Hall, but then, okay, close it on Friday the 10th, and that gives us the following week to interview candidates and seat somebody on the 21st before we have to. And my only concern is if we split on municipal consent, the Highway 53 project is a huge project, and we really need to either have a yes or a no and not a split. And I feel like we could put it on the October 7th agenda, but if we wanted to put it in front of an entire council, we would still have time if we sat somebody on October 21st.
Please.
A question, would that give enough time to advertise and to give people a little bit of time to mull over? I'm just questioning, it might be too short of a window.
I think my argument would be that one of these positions was coming open to be filled, so they've had some time. If you understand, if people were seriously thinking about it, they've had an opportunity. I've received phone calls about it, so they've had an opportunity. I don't disagree, but I just fear that with that municipal consent is a very, very large agenda item that we really need to make sure.
Well, I agree. I'm just not comfortable with the time frame.
Okay.
I am wondering.
Hold on, we have a discussion right now on the board. Anyone else have any thoughts on how we move forward? Please, Ken.
A couple comments. First, with the council's action to move forward advertising, and given that there's been action taken to appoint you to the office of mayor, we should have your action be to adopt a resolution declaring a vacancy in the at-large position or city council seat effective upon your administration of oath of office and taking the seat as mayor. So I can prepare a resolution, and we should have that of record as you move forward. And then to talk a little bit further about the schedule is that if you move forward with this motion, you mentioned, Councilor Kraus, the 10th. Well, the 10th is a Thursday, so if you scheduled applications to be due by Friday noon, that would be the 11th, and it would be the remainder of this week and then all of next week up until noon on Friday to complete the application form. And I presume that you are okay with the one that we included in your packet. And then we can distribute those to you early afternoon on Friday, the 11th, to review over the weekend, and then you can schedule interviews with whomever chooses to apply during sometime between the 14th and the 18th, which is a 5-day, the next week window. And then your council meeting would be the next Monday, the 21st. So it gives people the remainder of this week and all of next week to submit applications up until noon on Friday, and then the entire week, the following week, to consider applicants or to interview applicants. And so I'd probably prefer that you actually lay out that schedule if that's something that you want to do. If you want to extend it because of Councilor Deitch's concerns about it being too compressed a time frame, then I'd still like to probably see some direction from you as to when you'd want to schedule interview dates. And it might be dependent on if you only get one applicant or if you get 7, how much time it's going to be subject to how many applications you get to.
All right, any other thoughts on that? I can appreciate Councilor Kraus's timeline. That makes sense to me because it does. We do we have had ample amount of time to understand that this process has started. With that being said, it would be my intention to have a filled seat by the end of October, not necessarily the 21st, but either way, I think it's a good process to move forward on a date. Do we want to set that date for the following Friday as suggested by the city administrator?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If we're not going to look for the 21st, then we could do it 14 days, right? Standard?
Mayor?
Yes.
There really isn't a standard, the council, but, you know, I think we want to be reasonable, and I know that from the sound of the conversation tonight, I think you wanted to move forward as quickly as possible, at least a reasonable pace, so that you've got somebody seated to help make some of these decisions, especially with the upcoming budget approval in December, as well as some other things. So I would just raise a question. I know Councilor Deitch, you were thinking about making some travel plans in October or September. Did you firm anything up, or because I think the whole council should be present.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Let them know.
What are your dates that you plan on traveling?
16th through about the 21st.
16th through the 21st? Well, then if we took applications from October 1st, please.
I'll be gone the 18th through the 26th. We're going to go to Oregon and see the kids. Those plans have been in the works for months, so.
All right, so here's what the plan is. We're navigating this pretty well. All right, so we'll take, if everyone's fine with, we'll take applications from the 1st to the 11th. We'll send out those applicants to the council. On the 14th, we would have a regular committee meeting that day. That would have been the plan moving forward anyways. On the 14th, we'll have that committee meeting. We'll schedule interviews with our potential applicants, and coming out of that meeting, we'll make a recommendation to the city council for the meeting on the 21st. And that way, even if we have members that are not present for that meeting on the 21st, we still have a recommendation coming out of the committee of the whole moving forward. Please.
Mr. Mayor, if those two are gone on the 21st, we won't have a quorum. So
we'll have
no decisions could be made that night. I'm just...
All right. So,
You need a special meeting?
yeah, we could have a special meeting. We could have a special meeting on the 16th.
Councilor Deitch, are you going to be gone on the 21st?
You know, I don't have the exact date when we're returning. I would say 50-50. I'll be sure to be back by the 21st.
Okay, I just want to point out, in the entire time that Mayor Anderson was mayor, we never missed a quorum.
Off to a rocky start there, Droba.
So that if that seems to work for the plan, we will advertise from the 1st to the 11th. We'll have a committee meeting on the 14th, and we'll set up interviews on the 14th. We'll make a recommendation to the city council, and we'll have a special city council meeting in all of its glory for the meeting that would have been on the 21st. Does that make sense?
That's fine.
Because we're going to miss the 21st meeting unless we have an appointment. Does that make sense, Ken?
So when would you actually make the appointment in that scenario? Would you actually do it on the 14th? Have a special meeting?
We would have a
evening of the
special
14th?
meeting on the 15th or the 16th.
Okay. Well, and you're leaving the 16th.
Yep.
So we'll have a special city council meeting on the 15th.
Okay.
And if we make that appointment on the 15th, then we should have a full council for the 21st.
And the time for that meeting would be at 5 o'clock on the 15th? Is that?
Yeah, 5 o'clock on the 15th.
Thank you.
That works well for Councilor Kraus.
It was close tonight.
And the committee time on the 14th, is there you want to set a time for?
We'll set a time moving closer to that, so that once we find out how many applicants, we'll set up a time frame of the applicants coming in for interviews. So.
And then it would be staff's intention then, if the council moves forward with this motion and those specifics, is that we will prepare advertisement in both the Journal as well as the radio station, so that we can get as broad an outreach as possible, as well as put on our website, Facebook page, to make sure people are informed that you want to move forward and seek applicants for the at-large seat then.
Yes. So we have a motion and a second to seek applicants for the position of at-large city councilor, with the information that has been relayed through our discussion. Any other discussion on that?
And I would just add that I will be careful to try and lay out the process as part of the resolution declaring the vacancy and moving forward to seek applicants then.
Okay.
So that's clear, and make sure it's distributed to the council, as the public, as soon as possible as well.
Okay. So no other discussion. Chair would call the question.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes, 4-0. Things have changed in my life. My family is here. I will take the oath of office this evening. So,
Are you asking us to leave?
no,
Are you gonna-
no. But at this point, do we have to have a motion to declare a vacancy for at-large?
We should have a motion to approve a resolution declaring a vacancy in the at-large position, and the resolution will show it effective upon administration of the oath of office, if that happens tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
So moved.
So we have a motion to declare a vacancy.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, question.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion carries. All right. We have nothing else on our agenda this evening. I do just want to mention that we are going to be having a committee of the whole meeting on the 10th, and that is to discuss the process and projects for the sales and use tax in 2020 and 2021. What time do we have on that? That's 5 p.m., correct?
I'm sorry, are you talking about the public information meeting?
No, the committee of the whole meeting on the 10th with WSN and 2 o'clock?
That's what we had at our last meeting.
Yep.
I thought it was 5. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I will be out of town at a conference that day.
Okay. Well, we'll do amazing things without you.
You always do.
All right. And us having nothing else on the agenda this evening, I will adjourn this meeting.